You're now watching the latest updates in Egypt on Q News, and moving on for the latest developments in Egypt. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has declared that water, particularly from the Nile River, is Egypt's top priority, providing over 98% of the nation's water supply. The Egyptian leader has stressed that the protection of this vital resource is crucial for the survival of the Egyptian people and requires strong political commitment, diplomatic efforts, and collaboration with neighboring countries to achieve shared goals. Speaking at the opening of the 7th edition of the Cairo Water Week, President al-Sisi highlighted Egypt's efforts to enhance bilateral cooperation in water management with various African countries, especially those in the Nile Basin. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has stated that the Ethiopian dam has been under construction on the Nile River for 13 years without sufficient consultation or comprehensive studies on its safety, economic, social and environmental impacts on neighboring countries. He asserted that this oversight violates international law principles. During his speech at the opening session of the 7th Cairo Water Week, Madbouli highlighted the risks posed by unilateral actions that disregard international law concerning shared river basins, as seen with the Ethiopian dam. He emphasized the need for donor agencies to support African countries' efforts in water resource management. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has confirmed that $10 billion has been invested over the past 5 years to enhance the efficiency of Egypt's water system. During his speech at the opening session of the 7th Cairo Water Week, he warned that the unilateral operation of the Ethiopian dam could lead to dire consequences and exacerbate illegal immigration. He also noted that the Egyptian government has developed various plans to confront the water crisis and climate change while maximizing the use of available water resources. Minister of Water Resources and Irrigation Henny Swelem has urged Nile Basin countries that signed the Cooperative Framework Agreement to reconsider their positions and return to discussions on cooperation that does not harm any of the river nations. In a press conference on the sidelines of the 7th Cairo Water Week, he emphasized Egypt's rejection of unilateral measures and its non-recognition of unilaterally signed agreements. Swelem noted that the current situation in the Nile Basin is concerning, as it has fragmented into 3 groups with different views: the Upper Nile countries, the East Nile countries, and the 2 downstream nations. Egypt has condemned Israel's decision to confiscate the land housing the UNRWA headquarters in Jerusalem and convert it into a new settlement outpost. In a statement from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Egypt warned against Israel's ongoing attempts to disrupt UNRWA's activities in support of Palestinian refugees. The statement denounced Israel's systematic campaign to undermine the agency and eliminate the Palestinian refugee issue, labeling these actions as flagrant violations of international law, humanitarian law, the United Nations Charter, and relevant Security Council resolutions. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has highlighted that the administrative capital is one of Egypt's 4th-generation cities, with over 20,000 participants expected to attend the World Urban Forum. In a press conference, he noted Cairo's wealth of global experiences adopted by UN Habitat. He also emphasized that the Egyptian state has successfully implemented more than 1 million housing units in affordable and social housing, improving the quality of life for 300,000 families. Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati has affirmed Egypt's full readiness to host the World Urban Forum, highlighting the country's capabilities to manage major events. During a press conference announcing the details of the forum, Abdelati stated that Egypt is undergoing an unprecedented urban and civilizational renaissance, positioning Cairo as a global capital of security and safety. He emphasized that regional events will not impact Egypt's housing of the conference, noting a focus on sharing the Egyptian experience. The Cairo International Center for Conflict Resolution, Peacekeeping and Peace Building participated in the African Union mission to observe the presidential election in Tunisia from September 29th to October 10th, 2024. The director of the Cairo International Center, Ambassador Ahmed Nihad Abdellatif, stated that the center's involvement aligns with its cooperation with the African Union Commission's Department of Political Affairs, Peace and Security, reinforcing its role as a center of excellence for the Union. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli emphasized the state's commitment to the Decent Life Presidential Initiative, highlighting its crucial role in improving living standards, particularly in Egypt's rural areas. During a meeting with the consulting office overseeing the initiative, the Prime Minister reviewed the progress of projects in the first phase, which targets villages across 20 governorates and benefits over 18 million citizens. He noted that thousands of projects have been already completed and put into service, while work continues on the remaining targeted projects in this phase. The Ministry of Supply and Internal Trade, represented by Minister Sherif Farouk and the holding company for food industries, has signed a cooperation protocol with the Haya Karima or Decent Life Foundation to provide food commodities to citizens. The agreement aims to set up outlets in consumer complexes to display fresh meat under the Decent Life initiative. Farouk stated that the first phase will allocate 20 outlets from the Ministry of Supply and Internal Trade to offer competitively priced fresh meat for underprivileged families. The holding company will provide basic commodities like oil, sugar, ghee, and sauce, while the Haya Karima Foundation will identify eligible families through field studies. The Minister of Health and Population, Khalid Abdel Ghaffar, has announced that the Bidaya initiative has provided a total of 46,646,498 services since its launch. Over the past 4 days, the initiative delivered 7,084,166 services, benefiting 35,638 individuals through various women's empowerment and training programs, which included 504 services and activities. Additionally, 12.6 tons of meat and food supplies were distributed. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has reaffirmed the government's commitment to the guaranteed price for cotton supply, initially announced in Cabinet Session number 227 on February the 15th. The Prime Minister's spokesman noted that a recent meeting focused on securing funding for purchasing Egyptian cotton highlighted the state's support for farmers during these challenging global conditions. He emphasized the significance of cotton as a vital strategic crop, crucial to the Egyptian economy and many dependent industries. Minister of Housing Sherif Al-Shirbini announced that approximately 70,000 housing units will be offered within a month as part of the Housing for All Egyptians project. This includes 60,000 units for low-income families and 10,000 for middle-income households. Speaking during a Senate session focused on a draft amendment to the 2008 building law, Al-Shirbini emphasized the Egyptian state's commitment to supporting those in need through this initiative. The chairman of the Suez Canal Economic Zone, Qnews, has welcomed a Chinese delegation to discuss cooperation and investment opportunities in the economic zone. The meeting aimed to attract more companies from one of China's largest provinces to invest in the Suez Canal Economic Zone. During the discussions, Qnews highlighted the success stories achieved with over 200 Chinese companies operating in various sectors. He noted that recent efforts had resulted in attracting investments exceeding $1.067 billion during a promotional tour to China. Moving on to sports news, Egypt's Minister of Youth and Sports, Ashraf Subhi, welcomed CAF Secretary General Veron Mosengo Owamba to discuss the relocation of CAF's headquarters to Egypt's new administrative capital. The meeting centered on construction progress and collaboration to ensure timely completion. Subhi highlighted President Sisi's commitment to advancing African sports, while Mosengo Owamba praised Egypt's efforts to facilitate the relocation, which will include sports facilities and an academy. Eintracht Frankfurt's Omar Marmoush has been named the club's player of the month for September due to his outstanding performances. Marmoush scored 5 goals and provided 2 assists, currently leading the Bundesliga scoring charts with 8 goals. His notable contributions, including 2 goals and an assist in a 2-2 draw against Bayern Munich, have also earned him a nomination for the Bundesliga's Player of the Month award. And Egypt's national football team, led by coach Houssam Hassan, has decided to rest striker Mustafa Mohamed for the upcoming match against Mauritania after a medical examination confirmed a hamstring strain. The team is set to travel to Mauritania today for the crucial 4th-round qualifier. With 3 consecutive victories, the Pharaohs need only a draw to secure their place in the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. And that brings us to the end of our news bulletin. Here is what we have been covering. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi says Egypt's water resources are top priority. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli states that the Ethiopian dam has been under construction without sufficient consultation or comprehensive studies. And Egypt condemns Israel's decision to confiscate the land housing the UNRWA headquarters in Jerusalem. This brings us to the end of our bulletin. Remember to stay updated by following Qnews on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok at Qnews EG for the latest developments.